Good morning, everyone. It's my honor to be invited here today. And my name is Jiang Guanyu Medical Doctor, and I'm also the Deputy Chief Executive of the Global Taiwan Medical Alliance, GTMA. It's a group for advocating Taiwan attending the International Health Corporation worldwide. And I'm also the Youth Committee, the chairman of the YGTMA. And as my career, I'm a physician, serve in Taipei City Hospital. I specialize in hospital medicine, so I know some medical policy. And I also under the master program of the Global Health and Development at Taipei Medical University. So today my topic is the trend of international health cooperation during and after the COVID-19. Okay, next page. Thank you. In the beginning, I want to share my viewpoint of the critical success factors in Taiwan deal with the COVID-19. I think the three factors are recognizing the crisis, managing the crisis, and I think the most important, the communication during the crisis. First of all, we notify the cases in China, and we activate the Central Epidemic Command Center, CECC. Then we did the good management, like the border control and the case identification to detect the suspect cases advancedly. And we did the containment in the community. And we also did a good resource allocation. The resource allocation is not only the so-called PPE, the personal protective equipment, but also the triage policy, okay, to save the medical personnel, the most of medical personnel. And I think the most important is the communication. It is to reassure and educate the public to deal with the fear, okay, and while fighting the misinformation. One of my research in Taipei Medical University to evaluate the racial awareness in each country, if it's strong or not, is the KAP. K is knowledge, A is attitude, P is practice. Knowledge is know-how, know what to do during COVID-19 or during other pandemic. And the attitude is the attitude of the population in this country is positive or negative, okay? And the practice, it means under the situation in this country, is there any difficulty for the people to deal with the COVID-19? For example, in Africa, because the hygiene of the water resource, so the hand washing for them is really a big difficulty, okay? And India, because the poor people will live together in a limited space, so for them to do the social distancing is also a difficulty. So I think with Taiwan is really lucky. Okay, we did a good top-down the information distribution, and then we have the good situation for us to do the good behavior during the epidemic. Okay, next page. Okay. The next topic, I want to share the preliminary triage policy in Taiwan. One of our articles is accepted by the JDN. The JDN is Junior Doctor Network, and its journal is a newsletter from the World Medical Association, WMA. It is also the partnership of the WHO. Okay, so we can see this picture. It's just from our protocol in our government. So there are three stages. First of all, we will start at the community-based surveillance to detect the suspect cases, taking one's TOCC history and the related symptoms and signs. The TOCC is a travel occupation, and the travel, occupation, cluster, and the contact. And the related symptoms should be the fever, cough, and the other respiratory symptoms. Okay. Then the people who are tested positive or weak positive will send to the community hospital for isolation. Then, or the people who are tested negative, he will send to their home for self-management. Those who are confirmed in the following test will sent to the well-trained assigned facility, which is full of well-trained personnel and related resources. This is to avoid the patient concentrated in just one or two areas will cause the community outbreak, cross-infection, or the consumption of the medical personnel in a limited area. So it is also called the island hopping system strategy. Okay, next one. So this picture I think is very important for Taiwanese. This picture is the experience in 2003 during SARS. So we can see the blue one. The blue one is just the confirmed cases from the international travel to Taiwan. And then we can see the red one followed by the red one surge. It's the confirmed cases in the community. So it is the community outbreak. Because at that time we didn't develop the system dealing with the pandemic. So let us see the 2020. Next page. Thank you. So let's see the 2020 during the COVID-19. Even though there are 3 peaks of the blue one during the spring vacation, the red one, the community transmission is not followed by it. So it means our advanced deployment is really good during the COVID-19. We are sure proud of it, and we should keep this standard. Okay. So next. Okay. After Taiwan's issue, and I want to discuss in the future the possible global policy, the global issue like the immunity passport, advocated by the WHO. But the immunity passport is some pros and cons. Pros are some people say it will facilitate the biomedicine and the bioinformatics cooperation, and some scientists will say blockchain may be applied to the passport. But however, I think it's most important, as I am the medical specialist, the cons are that the test surveillance is not always feasible. It is because a national immunization certification program will require hundreds of millions of serological tests. Next page. So it's a Taiwan's experience about the inspection quantity during the COVID-19. We can see the blue one is the certificated disease reported, and the red one is for people who isolated at home and received the test. And the yellow one is the patient in a hospital, although they are not actually the COVID-19, but the physician will suspect his symptom or sign because it's very similar to the influenza or other disease. Okay, so they receive the COVID-19 real-time PCR test, and it is a yellow one, so it is expanded monitoring surveillance. And the next page. The next page is the green one. Okay, this is a total. We can see the peak is no more than 2,000 per day. The Taiwan's maximum is 4,000 to 6,000 per day. If we surpass it, it will become a jam, like the traffic jam when we send the sample to the limited labs. The Taiwan just have 10 to 12 qualified labs to do it. So it is also the potential crisis in Taiwan when we face the second wave of the COVID-19. Okay, next one. Follow the immunity passport. We also discuss about the travel bubble, as we should do some kickstart when we just open. Though there are the second wave of COVID-19, the travel bubble will be closed again. Some implication region, for example, like New Zealand and Australia, Vietnam and Thailand, and the Baltic states in Europe, Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania. And some larger country like Canada, they are enforced the domestic travel bubbles, of course. But would it be the long-term solution? Probably not, because some countries will find they are excluded. Okay, they are excluded. But every country, they need to exchange each other to maintain the global economy. So the travel bubble should be the kickstart, but it's not a long-term solution after the COVID-19. Okay, next one. When we face the COVID-19, what the theory can help us to design the policy for the community? So this picture is from the nature human behavior. So we can see one patient, if his contact point, he can contact 5 people at least. It will cause the peak of the epidemic. But if we limited the contact point, 1 person just contact 2 persons, the curve will be much more flattened. So it's a very important key point. Next one. Can you hear me? Is that okay? The volume is okay? Okay. So I think this part, the following part, is the core of my presentation today. It's the so-called after-action review when we discuss and to find the way to improve our current policy during the pandemic. Next one. What is after-action review? What is AR? All we do today, or other countries do today, is just the responding. To do what we know before, to face the new things. After onset of outbreak, we do JOR means all the responding of all the countries. Okay, maybe they have a different way. We have some way, and Korea or India have another way. But when there's an end of public health event, or just the end of the COVID-19, okay, the WHO will declare that AR should be activated within 3 months of the ending of the pandemic. And so it is for the reflection, to find a way to improve our experience, to find a way to avoid the next similar event. Next one. So this is a roadmap of the action review. It is written in the WHO guideline. There are 3 phases and 5 steps. And we see the pre-AR phase, the step 1 and step 2. Step is a design the question, develop the checklist, and organize the team building. And the step 2, I think is most important, is that you should find the stakeholder during the event, who is involved in it, and find them to interview, and collect the background and relevant information as much as you can. And during AR, that means you conducted the AR meeting, okay? You can identification of capacities, build the consensus, and develop a timeline and milestone to follow them. So the post-AR phase, you will study the results and follow up the results by document the progress and build a database. But some special point of the AR is that if you find a way, if your concept and the way you conclude, you find it's not good, you can adjust it and initiate the next round of the AR again. So it's very accurate. The advantage of the AR is that its spirit is that it requires all the members to be honest and be open, especially for those who are stakeholders during the event. So by this way, the AR can find a leader to help the leader find an unexplored way to solve the problem. Okay, next one. So my question is that AR, the action review written in the WHO guideline, well, it can be done outside the WHO, right? So I think there's a new novelty after COVID-19. The AR, after action review, as the reflection and find a gap to improve, to deal with the difficulty in the future. Just find a way to actually implement all the things. I think it can be the framework outside WHO because we know WHO has some practical issues. It can be let open and honest. Next one. So I just present my suggestion to the international conference in Korea. It's international conference is held by Korea University, Asia Research Institute (AI). Okay, and the coordinator just her feedback is that it can help the public opinion be expressed. This is good. That's one. And other picture for this, I was just invited to the non-profit organization annual conference to present the topic like the pandemic-driven post-traumatic growth. What is a traumatic growth? Post-traumatic growth. Next one. Post-traumatic growth. Another different thing is the PTSD. When we face the frustration, okay, if we can overcome it, it will cause us behave worse than before. It is the PTSD. We want to retrieve our ability, and if we accept the new normality, we are open to it, and we adjust ourselves. Maybe we will end the growth. It is so-called post-traumatic growth. Okay, this is for individual, and then the next one. Why I present the post-traumatic growth in that conference related with the COVID-19? Because everyone here today may be the leadership of the non-profit organization or non-government organization. You all will be the leader in the future. So you have to know after the COVID-19, some groups will be frustrated because they are affected by the COVID-19 or maybe affected by other event in the future. So you should learn how to lead the group to growth, no matter what difficult you face with. So there are 5 factors. You gain the post-traumatic growth. You should accept the new normality, be open to it, be creative, and you have to find your own role model, find the adequate role model. The role model means when the team faced the difficulty, who can overcome it, and the rest of the members can follow him or her. And about this way, we will be altruistic. That means we would like to share our experience to others, and others will share the different experience to us. It will cause the mutual help and mutual learning. And finally, when you get the growth, or your group get the growth, you will face your defeat calmly. Next page. This is my experience for holding a video conference about Europe and Taiwan cooperation. The conclusion of the speaker is that the also to practice is very important. To practice, to do. That's one. So all above I said is just, I think, it's just the spirit and the core of the public diplomacy to win the heart and minds. Your character is just get the growth no matter what difficulty you face with. Like be open, be honest to face anything after the pandemic, and find your adequate role model to learn from him or her. And finally, you will cultivate your experience to contact and interact with others. Okay, so I think it's most important for you all to attend the TW Month, and we will promote Taiwan better in the future. Thank you very much. Okay. 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 Any questions? Anything after the pandemic, and find your adequate role model to learn from him or her. And finally, you will cultivate your experience to contact and interact with others. Okay, so I think it's most important for you all to attend the TW Month, and we will promote Taiwan better in the future. Thank you very much.